Hey, is your kid a furry? Well, that's okay. I'm here to tell you what it is and what it isn't to be a furry. So your kid may have came to you and said that they're part of the furry fandom, or maybe you're just kind of suspecting it a little bit. Now, don't be fearful, because what a furry is and isn't is honestly mixed up a lot. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the costumes and safety. A common question some furries will receive would be something along the lines of, do I need a costume to be a furry? And the answer is no, not at all. I've been a furry since maybe my freshman year of high school. Probably a lot longer, but that's kind of when I really grasped it. You do not need one to be a furry at all. What it means to be a furry is basically just enjoying anthropomorphic animals. That could be watching shows like My Little Pony, liking the movie Zootopia, anything along those lines. But also, just because you like those things does not make you a furry. The only real thing that makes you a furry is saying, I'm a furry. My interest in the fandom started with this game right here, Animal Jam. I played it since I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, and I'm 19 now. I grew up with the game. I would draw my characters that I made, Frenzy being one of them, and then eventually I found out there was a whole community of people who draw the same things I do. And then after some digging, I found out it was the furry community. So just because I drew my characters that are anthropomorphic animals, that didn't mean I was a furry at the time. I mean, heck, I didn't even know what they were. But when I found out what it was, I realized I had an interest. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. A question a lot of parents are often wondering, my mom included, is do furries identify as animals? And the answer to that is also no. When I first told my mom, she looked at me and she was like, but you know you're not a furry, right? And it was pretty embarrassing for the moment, but after I explained to her what it was, she actually accepted me. Now, I don't really know where this misconception started from. There is a group called Therians, but they don't really think they're animals either. It's more of a spiritual thing. But with furries, it's mainly just cosplay. And if you don't know what that is, it's just costume roleplay in a way. You put on the costume and act as your character. A lot of people will argue saying, oh, furries act like animals. And I'm sure there are some furries that do. The world is huge, the fandom is huge. That's not what being a furry is. Most people like me just like designing characters and dressing up as them. It's basically the same thing as anime or video game cosplaying. Just the only difference is these are usually our own original characters. And if you didn't know, most suits are fully handmade. Which leads me on to the next topic. If you already know your kid is a furry and you're cool with it and you're like, I kind of want to get them a suit to show my support. Well, this part's for you. Where do you get a fursuit? Now, like I said, fursuits are handmade pieces of art. They can be extremely expensive. Just the head could be anywhere from $200 to $1,000. It's crazy. But it's always worth it to support the artist in the end who made your character beautifully. For instance, I made this one. It was my first one ever, but my friend made the one I'm wearing now. And she's had more experience in suits, so you can kind of tell this one has a lot better quality than this one does. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the quality really does affect the price. So if you're trying to look for a good quality fursuit, definitely take the price as a note. Now, if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a fursuit, there are other options. A lot of young furries and older ones enjoy these little toys called dino masks. They're about $15 at Target or a little more on Amazon, but always be careful because Amazon is a little sneaky with these guys and might scam you. But if you do find an official one, they have moving jaws. You strap the bottom to your jaw, and when you open your mouth, this jaw moves too. These masks are a really good option for newer or younger furries. That is actually what got me started in suit making. Like, I always wanted one. So those masks are really good for beginners because when I first started suit making, I actually started with those too. Another alternative is if you have a 3D printer. You can go on Thingiverse and find free to use templates for masks like this. This guy isn't finished yet, but he works similar to the dino mask. My brother printed him for me. I will be furring it and painting it eventually, but you can also get already printed ones, but they are a little pricey too. Now this would be a good time for me to talk about safety because I am currently overheating. So if you didn't know, fursuits are very thick and hot. They do have ventilation usually in the mouth. Sorry, it's a little weird if you can see my mouth there, but it does help a lot. Now, if you're overheating, please don't keep pushing. There has been too many horror stories of suitors passing out, and if you pass out and paramedics come, they will have to rip open your suit to make sure they can get to your body. Now, if you're in suit and you start feeling yourself overheating, take off the suit and drink some water. It is not worth looking cute and fluffy just for you to possibly pass out. Please take my word for it, that is very important. If you go out in public in suit, always have a handler with you so they can see your surroundings. It's very hard to see right in the middle of a suit right there and your peripherals. So you always want another eye out with you, as long as they can also tell you about any dangers nearby and things like that. And if you don't know what that means, a handler is basically someone out of suit who will walk around with you. Another common question is the furry fandom NSFW? And the answer is yes and no. Just like any online fandom, there's always going to be art like that out there. It sucks, but try naming one fandom. I guarantee there's something like that out there. So the leading question may be, is the furry fandom safe for my kids? And honestly, that is up to you. If I were to have a say, I would say just monitor their online interactions just the same as you would with any other online interaction. Because there are weirdos everywhere, no matter where you look. And if you start feeling uncomfortable, then I guess try your best to have a talk with them and set boundaries. I know that may be easier said than done, but honestly, that's the truth. There are some bad things and there are plenty of good things. Now you may be thinking, what is the best way I can shield my kid from said bad things? Well, I would recommend not letting them get furry Twitter. From experience, it's a little wild out there. There are a lot of NSFW things there, a lot of drama. YouTube is also another thing you would want to keep watch. But if I were to say what the safest platform for furries would be, I would suggest TikTok. There is still sometimes some things that'll get past the filters, but from my experience, it's probably the safest one out there for furries. Now, more about safety and online is bullies are everywhere. I hate to say it, but if your kid is a furry, they will get bullied. And that is not okay, but that's just the reality of this fandom. No matter what you do, there's always going to be people to try and put you down, try and stunt you. But if you just ignore them over time, you'll learn that what they think really doesn't matter. And once again, that's easier said than done. It took me years to finally grasp that. But when I finally did, I'm having so much more fun being me. So this video was completely unscripted, so please let me know if I forgot anything, if you have more questions, if I worded anything wrong. I want to make my videos better in the future, so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and have a good day. So today I'm going to be talking about what so hard to talk in this. Hey guys!